Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lone Star College-Montgomery's dual credit information session. We are going to go ahead and get going. So tonight we are going to go over what dual credit is and the ins and outs, what it looks like for your student, how to qualify, and everything you need to do to be a part of the dual credit program. So let's go ahead and get going right into it. So what is dual credit? Dual credit is a part of Lone Star College's exceptional admissions program. It is designed for students who demonstrate college readiness. The dual credit program allows students to earn high school credit and college credit at the same time. Dual credit teachers are employed faculty members of Lone Star College or high school instructors verified by Lone Star College to meet the same requirements as faculty teaching the same course on a college campus. So for most of our students taking dual credit, they are embedded into their high school schedule, and they are taught by high school teachers that are credentialed and employed by Lone Star College. And we partner with independent school districts, charter schools, private schools, and home schools to offer these courses in the core curriculum, foreign languages, and workforce education. What are the benefits of dual credit? There's a whole lot of them there, as you can see. So the first one is you can earn college credit and shorten the time needed to obtain a college degree, offered at a significantly lower cost than regular college, and we'll get into what that looks like in a little bit. You get to gain college experience while you're still in high school in a supportive environment. Again, most of these classes are taught in your student's high school. They are taught by their teachers that their friends have. They are credentialed by Lone Star College, and it's embedded into their high school schedule, so they don't technically have to come to the college to get that credit. Most schools do offer this at an enhanced GPA as well, on a 5 or a 6.0 scale. That's not consistent on every school or ISD, so make sure you chat with your school on what that looks like, but most of them are offered at a higher GPA. And many of the classes are fully transferable to public colleges or universities in Texas, and we'll get into what that looks like as well. So how much does dual credit cost? That's the important part, right? Tuition for a dual credit class is discounted down to $43 per credit hour. So most classes are 3 credit hours. It'd be $129 for that one class. Most of our students do take 2 classes a semester or more. So those 6 credit hours would be $250. And in that example there, if you're taking English and history, 1301 in the fall semester, it'd be $258. Or 1302 in history, 1302 in the spring semester, again, $258. If you look at the blue box over there, it's a grand total of $516 for 12 credit hours. The general cost of of college tuition at Lone Star College is $111 a credit hour. So it'd be $333 a class. So you'd save $816 over that, those 12 hours. And if your student is taking dual credit biology, for instance, that is a 4 credit hour class. So another $43 on top of the $129, $127 for that class. And the breakdown is over there on the right in that blue box. So again, $43 per credit hour, $129 for your general 3 credit hour class, or $172 for that 4-hour class. Okay, thanks a lot. We get a lot of questions about the difference between dual credit and AP. I'm not going to go through all of these here, but the biggest difference is, if you're looking at it from kind of a big picture view, is in dual credit, a student is guaranteed to receive credit at the end of the semester. As long as they complete the class, they will earn a grade in that class. Whereas AP, the credit for that class is dependent upon the score you get on the AP exam at the end of the year, which is typically a 3 or higher, depending on what college or university you want to go to. Transferability, AP is accepted nationally. It says most academic courses for dual credit will transfer to any Texas or surrounding public college. Lone Star College has articulation agreements with every public school in the state. So going public in-state is not an issue. And because of the size of Lone Star College as a system, we have about 100,000 students. So we're a very large institution. So going out of state or private is very rarely an issue for our students. But if that is a plan for your student to go private or out of state, just make sure you contact those universities first. Let them know your plan of maybe taking dual credit while you're in high school, and they will let you know for sure, yes or no, if that's going to be a good idea. And the other main difference is eligibility. Students have to show college readiness via placement exam to take dual credit courses, and advanced placement AP classes are typically open enrollment. So how do you become a dual credit student? The first step is to talk to your high school counselor. This typically happens during course selection at any time during the year when you sit down and talk to your counselor about your plan to move forward in your next couple of years of high school. You can let them know that you're interested in dual credit. They will let you know what classes that are offered and eligibility requirements there. The next step is to complete a Lone Star College application through Apply Texas. ApplyTexas.org. You complete that application there. It does take a couple of days for us to get your information, but Lone Star College as a whole is an open enrollment institution. So once you apply, you're automatically accepted. So you don't have to submit any test scores or anything while you're coming into the school or applying to it. The next step is to test, and that is to demonstrate college readiness through the SAT, ACT, or TSI. From there, you submit all your paperwork to your high school, and they will take care of the rest. They will mark down what classes you want to take. They will send us all of your information. We will get you registered for those classes, and then you have to pay for them again at that discounted rate. So eligibility requirements to become a dual credit student. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty on this, but the first one is to be non-degree seeking, meet the Texas Success Initiative exemption with the SAT or the ACT, or take the Texas Success Initiative assessment. That's that TSI test that we've mentioned. So non-degree seeking, a non-degree seeking student is defined as a student who has not filed a degree plan with an institution of higher education and is not required to do so pursuant to Texas Education Code 51.9685. So in order to become a non-degree seeking student, as you're filling out the application, there is a section on there to where you can choose a degree plan. At the very bottom of that, there is an option for non-degree seeking. That is the option you would click if that is what you want to do. Students that choose that non-degree seeking path are waived from the TSI reading, writing, and math readiness prerequisites. All other course prerequisites still apply. So for instance, you can't take English 1302 without taking English 1301 first. And if you do apply as a non-degree seeking student, you're not going to remain that way for your entire Lone Star career. Students are required to file a degree plan at the college at the end of their second regular semester or immediately following the semester in which they earn a cumulative total of 15 or more hours. So if your student is taking 3 classes per semester, that would put them at 18 hours. So they would be required to do that at the end of their second semester. And same for your students if they're only taking 1 or 2 classes. At the end of the second semester, regardless of how many hours, you have to file that degree plan or the term in which you have hit that 15-hour credit hour mark. This is our placement chart. So you have the TSI exemptions there with the SAT and ACT. In order to qualify with the SAT, you need to have a 530 in the math and a 480 in evidence-based reading and writing. ACT has a couple of different scores there because they did change the test on February 15th in 2023. So if you've taken it before, those are the scores, math 19, 23 composite. And you'll notice the composite score is consistent within the ACT for the test prior to 2023. So if you hit the 19 in math or 19 in English, but you didn't have a composite score of 23, that is a requirement for both of them. So if you hit the 19, but you didn't have the 23, you would be required to take the TSI thereafter. For the SAT, evidence-based reading and writing, that's what the EBRW stands for. You do need a 480. And with these things, we can mix and match them with the TSI. So if your student has taken the SAT or ACT and they did really well in the math, they got the 530 or a 22 after the test changed in 2023, but maybe they didn't get the 480 or the English and reading 40 plus, you could just take the ELAR portion in the essay of the TSI or vice versa. If you did really well in the evidence-based reading and writing or the English and reading, you could just take the math portion of the TSI. So we are able to mix and match those scores, and we will take the best score. So if you take that test multiple times, the TSI, or if you've taken the SAT or ACT multiple times and you scored better on one test in the English and one test in the math, we will mix and match scores to make sure your student has the best possible, is set up the best possible way. The TSI, the Texas Success Initiative Assessment 2.0, is an exam divided into 2 component areas, the English language arts and writing and mathematics. It's an assessment designed to provide more detailed information regarding your academic strengths and weaknesses. Students have to complete the pre-assessment activity before they can take the TSI, and that's through their My Lone Star account that they can do that. And for dual credit students, there is no charge for the first test. So if you do come to Lone Star College-Montgomery to take that test, and you're a dual credit student, let them know, and you can take that test for free. And the test may be administered through the student's high school or on the Lone Star College campus. A lot of our local high schools are testing sites. So they will provide the TSI test at the high school, either during the school day or after. Just pay attention to the announcements, check your emails. If you have any questions, talk to your high school counselors. Let them know that you need to take the TSI or you are interested in that, and they will let you know if there are any upcoming dates or when you can sign up for that test. And a full list of required test scores for dual credit placement is on our website right there, and there's going to be another link for that down at the end of this presentation. So some things you need to know, just important notes. We're going to jump into all of these right now. For accommodations, if your student in high school is receiving accommodations through their counselor, whether it's extended time on tests or a transcriber, someone taking notes for the students, if you're receiving accommodations in high school, you can receive accommodations at the college level as well. In order to receive accommodations at the college, you must request those accommodations through our Disability Services office at Lone Star College. There is some paperwork that you need to fill out and submit, and you will have to meet with our disabilities counselor as well. Your high school counselors will have all of that information and the links you need to fill out before you can meet with one of our counselors. So if that is something you are in need of, be sure to talk to your counselor, let them know. And again, if you're receiving accommodations to be successful in your classes, make sure that you continue to do that in dual credit and seek those services through our Disability Services office. So Lone Star College has a below C grade policy, and that means grades in the dual credit or college credit only class are a part of your high school or your college record. So students that receive a D or an F in a college course may or may not be permitted to continue in dual credit. And we do that as a protection measure for your student. We don't want students to continue in dual credit who continually receive a D grade or an F and have a very low GPA, because that is a part of their college transcript. So it's a protection measure. It's not a punishment. We don't want to kick anybody out of the program, but we do want to make sure they're successful and they're setting themselves up for long-term success and not short-term success. So if they receive a D or an F in a college dual credit course, we may not allow them to continue in dual credit based on what they are wanting to continue to take. Dual credit classes do often have two different grade books for high school and college, and it's possible to get a passing grade in the high school course but fail the college course. Lone Star will only look at the college course grade to determine the future of DC eligibility. So it's not unusual for us to get emails or phone calls that a student got an F in a dual credit college class, but they got a B in the high school class. That's an example. That's not holding anybody to it. But it's not unusual with those two different grade books to see two different grades and be confused. So if there are questions about the Lone Star grade, make sure you're checking your Lone Star transcript and talk to your teacher, your dual credit teacher that provided that grade. FERPA. The FERPA is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. All dual credit students are protected under FERPA rules. This act prevents the release of certain information held within student records without students' written consent, even if the student is under 18. So there is a form called the FERPA form that students have to fill out in order for us, the college, to release information to any parent, grandparent, sibling, whoever it may be. If a parent calls us without a FERPA on file, we are legally not allowed to disclose any information. So even though your child may be 13 or 14 years old, I am legally not allowed to share any information without a FERPA on file. So if that is something you want to be able to get a hold of with your students' college information, make sure you complete that FERPA form, because we are legally not allowed to disclose any information without that form. It's an optional form in most of the high school packets, but it is strongly recommended that you complete that form. That way we can talk to you without any limitations. The bacterial meningitis requirement. If you ever plan on attending classes at a Lone Star College campus, you do have to provide the college with proof of vaccination against bacterial meningitis or complete the conscientious objection form. This isn't a Lone Star rule. This is a law in the state of Texas that anybody attending college under the age of 22 is required to be vaccinated against bacterial meningitis. So we do need proof of that vaccination or the waiver form if you are intending on taking classes at Lone Star College. If you only ever intend on taking dual credit at your high school embedded on your campus, you don't have to worry about it. But if you do come to us for any reason to take night classes or whatever it may be, you will have to provide proof of that. And if your student is under the age of 18, parent must sign that form as well. And again, students attending DC classes at the high school or online are exempt and do not have to submit proof of that vaccination. This will be down the road for quite a few of us, but something to keep in the back of your mind. Once you are looking at applying to other colleges or you're nearing graduation and you are going off to another school, you need to request a transcript from Lone Star to be sent to that other college or university because you put in all the hard work, you got the grades, you did all the classes, you want to make sure you get credit for those at whatever school you're going to. So you'll have to request that transcript. It's currently $9 to do so. Request it to be sent to whatever college or university you're going to, and make sure that you get credit for all the hard work you put in. As dual credit student, you are eligible to all of the services that are offered to our general college students. So our dual credit students can also take advantage of our tutoring services. It's available free of charge in nearly all subject areas. You can do in person or online at Montgomery. And there's group and individual tutoring as well. Through our STAR Center, you can schedule an appointment, look at all of the available tutoring options and take advantage of that. You will also have access to our library and all the library services, so study spaces and computers, research and citation assistance, and a full collection of library databases. And students are also eligible to take part in student life and campus events. Just because you're a dual credit student at your high school doesn't mean you can't come here and take advantage of all the fun things that we do or the tutoring and library services. Whatever a general college student can get, so can a dual credit student. Financial assistance is available. So financial aid for swift transfer, or fast funds as we call it, allows economically disadvantaged students to take dual credit courses at no cost. So students that are on free or reduced lunch or have been on free or reduced lunch at any time within the last 4 years are eligible for fast funds. The TEA and the THECB work together with us to identify these students. You do not have to complete a FAFSA application. Dual credit students are not eligible to receive FAFSA. So this is a collaborative effort with TEA, the THECB, and Lone Star to identify these students. So again, if you've been on free or reduced lunch at any time in the past 4 years, you are eligible to receive FAST funds. And these funds cover all the cost of your dual credit and books as well. So that is something to keep in mind moving forward with your dual credit journey. If money is a concern, let's not let that happen. Take advantage of these FAST funds and we can cover the cost of the classes and the books with that. So things to remember, whatever you need to do on the dual credit side, as long as you are in your high school, is always consult with your counselor. Whatever you need to do, whether it's adding a class or dropping a class, that's all going to be done through your high school counselor. Everything has to be signed off on by your counselor. That way they know what you're doing and we know what you're doing as well. Prepare to spend 2 hours outside of class for every hour you're in class. This is going to be a harder class, right? It's dual credit. It is a college class, so be prepared to spend time working on that class when you're at home and outside of class as well. You need to learn and save your Lone Star College ID number. Anytime you talk to somebody at Lone Star College and we ask for your ID number, we're going to want that Lone Star ID number. Learn your My Lone Star login and password. That's going to be important. A lot of work is done through My Lone Star. Our learning system is called D2L. A lot of work is done through there, so make sure you know how to log into your account. That's also where you make payment for your classes. So again, make sure you're signing into that and you know it. Check your My Lone Star email or forward that to your personal email address so you know to check it. That's where any communications, especially if you're taking a class through us or online, any communication from Lone Star or an instructor is going to go to that My Lone Star email, because that's the only way we can verify you are who you say you are. And all adds and drops must be completed through your counselor. You cannot drop a class online. You can't do it yourself. You can't come to Lone Star College-Montgomery and see one of our academic advisors to drop that class. It all needs to be done through your high school counselor. So if you come to see us to do that without their approval, we're going to send you back to them. So make sure all communications regarding your dual credit start with your high school counselor. So we covered a whole lot of information there. If you have any questions, please drop them in that chat box. We'll do our best to answer them. Or if you think of something later on, please feel free to email us at mc-dualcredit@lonestar.edu or visit our website, lonestar.edu/Montgomery dual credit. There's a lot of really good information there. There's an FAQ on there as well that can take care of a lot of things if you think of something after. So we're going to hang out and answer any questions as they come in. So to sign up for a TSI test, you can do that on our website. If you go to lonestar.edu/Montgomery, scroll down about halfway down, you can click on Testing Center, and there's an option there to where you can sign up and make an appointment to take the TSI. Students can start taking dual credit classes whenever they meet those eligibility requirements. If it's in a public high school or one of our private schools, they typically start the junior year. If that's the path you plan on taking within the high school, they do typically start junior year. There are a few schools and ISDs that do it sophomore year, depending on the class. Some foreign languages can start a little earlier. But yes, most of them start junior year, and sophomores can take it. Just depends on what school you're at, or if you want to take it outside of the school. If you meet those eligibility requirements, you can do that there. So if you fail a DC class at any point of the year, you're automatic. So we go off of end of year grades. So if there's an F at the very beginning because maybe we missed an assignment, we're not going to remove a student from a class in the midpoint. It would be at the end of the year, and it would be the following class, depending on the grade they've gotten at the end of the year. Students can take the SAT, ACT, or TSI, or any combination thereof. If they've taken the SAT and did really well in one subject but not the other, they can take just the other subject in the TSI. We can mix and match all of those scores. PSAT scores no longer count. That changed recently to where PSAT and STAR scores are no longer qualifiers for dual credit. And I can't say that there's a better testing path, whether it's SAT, TSI, ACT. If you've taken any of them, we can look at those scores and see where we're at. We maybe mix and match, or just go back to the TSI. We did record this, and it will be posted on our website sometime soon. Once we get through it and we make all the edits, we will get it on our website at the Montgomery dual credit page. Students can take classes during the summer or mini-mester. As they're thinking about that, keep in mind summer and mini-mesters are very condensed classes. So we take our typical semester, which is a 16-week class, and we condense it down into 8 or 3 weeks, depending on the summer or the mini. So it can be a lot of information really, really quickly, but students are eligible to take that. So just make sure if we're doing it in a subject we're very comfortable in while we kind of get our feet wet and we figure out what we're doing with it. Definitely don't jump into like a math class if you're not very good at math in the summer, because it's going to be very, very difficult. But students are eligible to take those classes as well in order to be eligible. So if they don't take the SAT at 10th grade, they can take the TSI to meet that eligibility requirement. Or there is that non-degree seeking option as well. Again, it has been recorded. It will be on our website. We do have last year's information. It hasn't changed drastically. The biggest information change from last year to this year is non-degree seeking. So that is on our website, and we will have this one up hopefully in the next few days. Dropping a DC class does not count towards the total allowance of college dropped classes. So a college student gets 6 allowed W's on their transcript. A dual credit drop does not count towards that 6 W. So we'll still show on it as a W on the transcript if they drop after that official day, but it does not count towards the 6. Yes, they do transfer outside of Lone Star. Again, we have articulation agreements with every public school in the state. So going to a public school in Texas is very rarely an issue. If you want to go private or out of state, because of our size, again, we have almost 100,000 students system wide. We're the 3rd largest system in Texas. So we're pretty well known nationally. Going private or out of state, very rarely an issue. But if that is something that you want to do, just make sure you contact that institution first, and they will give you the yes or no on if dual credit at Lone Star is a good option for your student. And yes, taking SAT and meeting those minimums will suffice to complete the eligibility. How do high school grading and college grading in DC classes work and differ? So I can't speak to the specifics as what it looks like on the high school side, but the high school does need to have a grade on their high school transcript as well. So it is very, very possible and very likely that they will carry different grade books, and the work that they do in class one day or one assignment could be strictly for high school and not for the college. It's just going to depend on the class, the school, the ISD, and the instructor. So I can't speak specifics on that, but again, they do carry different grade books. In dual credit, DC credits are accepted at, I can't say all colleges, most colleges. Again, public and state, no issues. Out of state or private, just make sure you contact that school first. You don't need to do anything for FAST funds. There is no application. We work with your school to get your students' unique identifying number that's issued by the state. And we work again with TEA and the THECB, that's the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, to identify these students with the state. And then we apply those funds to the account. There is no need to do an application or anything. We take care of that all on our end. Most high schools have a dual credit website. So I know I was on Grand Oaks website earlier today, and there is I believe under their counseling center tab, there's dual credit, and you can click on that and they give you a list of classes that are available for dual credit at that school. It varies by what high school and ISD you're at or within. Most of them all have an English and a history and a math, but then it can vary pretty greatly from there. So just make sure you talk to your school, look at our degree plans, Associates of Arts, Associates of Science, anything within the core can be eligible for dual credit, or any foreign language or workforce degree. Workforce class can be eligible for dual credit.
So now you have it, right?
Yeah, if your student's already in dual credit and needs to take a couple of classes, government and economics outside of school, she can take those online. It's going to be up to the high school if she can transfer those back as dual credit. Just make sure you talk to your counselor first, let them know your plan, and they will give you the yes or no on if that's going to transfer back. So anything C or better is considered successful in a dual credit class. So a 70 or higher. I mean, it goes on the college transcript regardless. So even if a student gets a D or an F, it's going to be on that college transcript. But you'll get the credit regardless. I mean, not if you get an F, but a D or D to A, there is credit awarded. That's correct. They can sign up they can complete their application as non-degree seeking or have qualifying scores via TSI, SAT, ACT, and can sign up for classes through Lone Star or their high school. Yes, the TSI, SAT, or ACT would have to be taken before classes can start, unless you have signed up for, created your application as non-degree seeking. If you are looking at taking or signing up for the SAT, there is a test coming up. The next one will be, the next one we can sign up for is in March. I think it's March 8th. The deadline for that to sign up, I believe, is in February. I'm getting that information right now. Yeah, the deadline to register for that test is February 21st. So there's one March 8th deadline, February 21st, and then the next one is May 3rd. And that will be available, or your student should receive information about that within their high school. So students are able to take DC classes at Lone Star campus. Off the top of my head, the only one the classes that are only offered at Lone Star College right now that I can think of is within Conroe and Montgomery ISD. Some of their students take workforce classes. So Conroe ISD has automotive courses that are out of our Conroe Center, and the students go there. Montgomery ISD offers welding to their students, and they come to our Conroe Center as well to take those classes. So the SAT does have deadlines to sign up. The TSI you can take anytime at our testing center. It can vary at the high school, but they can come to Lone Star College at any time to take that TSI and make an appointment. Scores are immediate. You can take it as many times as you need to. I don't recommend retaking that test more than twice because eventually you learn the test and not the material. But yeah, there is a deadline for the SAT. There is no deadline for TSI. We are open Monday through Friday and have limited hours on Saturdays as well for that. Lone Star dual credit does include language courses like Spanish. A few of our high schools have embedded Spanish within their schedule. Some schools offer it online to their students as well. And students can take college classes at the same time as their high school classes. You can sign up for them online or after school. Just make sure it doesn't interfere with your high school schedule. But as long as they meet those eligibility requirements, they can take any class that they want. Sophomores can join. If it's outside of school or if your school is offering a class that allows sophomores, they're absolutely eligible. The TSI, again, can be taken at any time at any Lone Star College. We're open 6 days a week. You can come in with an appointment and take that test. It is free for first-time test takers. If you have to take it again, it's $10 per subject or $29 for the full test. Yeah, students can start with us at any time as long as they meet those requirements. And the link for our presentation from last year is at lonestar.edu/Montgomery dual credit. It's available on there. It is last year's information. So that, again, the only thing we're missing is that non-degree seeking. They can take other classes to get that PE credit out of the way. I know a lot of students like to do that during the summer. And I can't say specifically if it would count towards high school or not. That would be up to the high school. But a lot of students do come to Lone Star and take some classes outside of their school just to get ahead. If they know where they want to go and they know what they want to do, they can do that. Non-degree seeking students can take English or History 1301. Yes, again, students are eligible to take whatever class as long as they meet the prerequisites at our campus, whether it's online or out after the school day. As long as we meet those requirements or the prereqs, you can come and take classes. So Lone Star College, our deadlines can differ from the high school. So make sure you talk to your school, talk to your counselor. They may have internal deadlines that they have set to complete the TSI or ACT or SAT. Make sure you work with your school because every school is going to have something a little bit different. But if you do intend on taking the SAT, ACT, TSI, make sure you talk to your school and you meet their deadlines because they're going to differ from what Lone Star College has. Dual credit can be for any grade. If you want it embedded on your high school, it may be for certain grades. If you want to take it outside of school, it could be for again any grade, but it is typically embedded at the high school at the junior and senior level. Spanish, if you want to take it outside of the school, can be offered during the summer. You can take AP classes and dual credit at the same time. AP grades don't have any effect on dual credit. most students do mix and match. So AP can have more offerings depending on the school. For Willis High School, for instance, they have a pretty robust dual credit program, but they don't have like a chemistry dual credit. So a lot of students will take more of a science or a foreign language AP, and then take some more of the other academic courses as dual credit. But you can mix and match all of those classes. There is no limit to what you can do as far as mixing and matching. If a student doesn't have an SAT or equivalent score, you do have that option to do non-degree seeking. Students can sign up if they apply to Lone Star as non-degree seeking. They can take the intro level courses. So in English 1301, History 1301, Math 1314, Sociology, Psychology, any of those classes that just require you to be college level, they can take, but you can't skip classes. So you can't, for instance, go to Math 1316, which is trigonometry, or English 1302 without having first completed the prereq. So students can take any class that is just college ready as a requirement, but does not require another class as a prerequisite. For DC classes at Grand Oaks, if you go onto their website, if you find where it is in the drop-down box, I believe it's under the campus tab, and click on counselors. There's a dual credit tab there, and you can click on it. It'll give you all the steps to becoming a dual credit student, along with what classes are offered. And that's pretty consistent for most of our high schools. If you go onto their website, go into the counselor's corner or the dual credit corner, they will give you a list of the classes that are offered. Non-degree seeking students with TSI take courses that are not, yes. So whether you're TSI complete or non-degree seeking, you can take courses at Lone Star that are not dual credit. We call these college credit only courses. They are not eligible for the dual credit waiver, so you would have to pay full price for that. Which would be $333 or $444, depending on what class you're taking. But you can take classes just towards your college degree outside of your high school. Just be aware that they're not eligible for the waiver. Can you copy and paste the link? Okay. So the link is in there. Let's see. The freshman who qualifies to start a class at the college apart from the ones up. Yes. So again, whether you're a freshman, an 8th grader, a senior, if you qualify or you sign up as non-degree seeking, you can take classes at the college apart from your high school. Okay. Any other questions? No. So the grades for dual credit and AP are separate. So if a student makes a low grade in an AP class or a dual credit class, they wouldn't be removed from the other class. Now, that would be a conversation with the counselor, your high school counselor. If you make a low grade in DC, we may remove you from future DC. If you make a low grade in AP, that could be a conversation with the counselor, and they're going to determine what's going to be best for your student to be successful. The AP and dual credit classes are independent of each other. It's not a whole lot of paperwork. We have a couple of registration forms that students fill out every year, one for the fall, one for the spring, and that FERPA form. And then if you have any test scores to submit, you would submit that as well. We call it our dual credit packet. You can get that from your high school counselor, and they will collect all of that at the end of the time and submit that to us. The dual credit counselor, every school has a designated dual credit counselor. They are typically alpha counselors as well. Most of our schools, all of the counselors kind of handle their own caseload and then submit it all to the dual credit counselor. So everybody should be versed in it. But if you do talk to your counselor and they're unsure, they can direct you to who that dual credit counselor is at that school. And yes, your student would be eligible to attend Lone Star with that criteria.
We need to have signatures for every level.
Any other questions? Yeah, DC, just to reiterate, DC price is discounted. So the cost for a dual credit class is $43 per credit hour. So it'd be $129 for a 3-hour class, $172 for a 4. That is on our website as well, I believe. The general cost for a dual college class is $111 per credit hour, or $333. So it is pretty heavily discounted for students. And again, if you've been free or reduced lunch anytime in the past 4 years, you are eligible for FAFSA funds. That would cover the cost of the class and the cost for the book as well.
Dean's, what day was sent to receive?
So if you've requested DC for 2025,
I'll work on
TSI, it's going to depend on the school and the deadlines to be TSI, SAT, ACT complete or non-degree seeking, depending on the route you're going. But it is going to be dependent on the school if they have internal deadlines. As long as you have those test scores for us before that class starts, we're good on the Lone Star side. But again, talk to your counselor, talk to your high school. They may have some internal deadlines that you need to hit.
But it's a template for what I can use. Okay. You know what I actually think would work well with this is
Okay, I think we've hit the end of questions. If you all do have any other questions, or if you think of anything overnight, tomorrow, in the future, I'm not sure what just happened on the screen. Please email. I'm going to type it in here.
Submission to whatever team. And then there's a space for notes.
MC-dualcredit@lonestar.edu. Email that. If you have any questions, again, overnight, you think of them later, send the questions to that email, and we will do the best to answer those as they come in.
Right. Like.
So if a student fails to continue in dual credit, it's going to be up to the high school on where they go from there. Whether it's honors or AP, it's going to depend on what's best fit and where there is space within the classes. So that's going to be a high school dependent question. On our end, we just know that they're taken out of the program. Where they go, or if they no longer wish to continue from fall to spring, it's going to be up to the high school and y'all to make that decision on where you want them to land. So dual credit allows students to earn college credit and high school credit at the same time. So it can shorten the amount of time you spend in college, shortens the time needed to obtain a degree. You can be in a more supportive environment within the high school, with high school teachers, with their friends, with the family, close to everybody. So they kind of get a taste of college and what it is, what's required, while still having that supportive environment, and also shortening the amount of time that they're going to be in college, and also increasing the rigor in which their classes are offered in high school. And that PDF that just dropped in the chat there is the tuition and fees. So it'll give you a breakdown of what is required there. Okay. If we don't have any other questions, I want to thank everybody for coming and spending time with us this evening. Again, if you do have any questions, please reach out to mc-dualcredit@lonestar.edu, and we will get those answered as they come in. Again, thank you all for coming and spending time with us. We appreciate it. Yes. Yes, you can. And whatever questions you have, email us, reach out to your high school counselors. They will be able to give you all that information. My name is Cameron Edgecombe. I am a dual credit coordinator here at Lone Star College-Montgomery. So if you have any questions, we monitor that inbox. I check it every day. We'll do our best to get you taken care of. Okay. Thank you, everyone.